So pleased to welcome to our program today Don Cox. Don's president, CEO of the Massachusetts Military Support Foundation, to chat a little bit about that organization and also about their food distribution program during the pandemic. So, Mr. Cox, first of all, nice to meet you. Thanks for spending time with us.
Don, please. My dad was Mr. Cox. All right,
Appreciate
and
it.
I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to talk about our programs and our veteran issues and food for people in need in Massachusetts.
The first time I'd heard about your organization was when you opened up the food distribution site in Randolph. So I'm assuming maybe other folks don't know about it either. Could you tell us a little bit about the foundation?
Yes, Mass Military Support Foundation was founded in 2017, and it was founded to take the programs that we had established on Cape Cod. Our origin is on Joint Base Cape Cod, and we have established a number of veteran and military support programs for families of veterans and military active duty personnel. And the programs became so successful on the Cape that we were asked to do them across the state. And Mass Military was born. We took most of the programs that we had here on Cape Cod and brought them out to the western part of the state. And then in 2018, there was a government shutdown. And when the Coast Guard found themselves out of not receiving paychecks and having to feed their families, we opened up 5 pop-up empowerment centers across New England and fed 12,000 Coast Guard families for 45 days during the government shutdown when they weren't getting paychecks. And at that point, when it was over, we sat down and had an after-action committee meeting, and we decided that there was probably going to be another shutdown in our future, and we better be better prepared for it. So we developed a plan that we were all set in case there ever was another government shutdown. And lo and behold, it wasn't a shutdown; it was a pandemic. And we had built the infrastructure, and we had the programs in place, the sourcing of foods, and the ability to be able to feed large quantities of people. And when the pandemic hit last March 15th, we sprung into action and we started distributing food here on the Cape and out in Western Mass with our Food to Vets program. We were feeding roughly about 5,000, 6,000 people a month when it kicked off in March, and it's grown now to we're up around 25,000 people a week that we're sustaining with our food program through Mass Military. And we also provide our sister organization, USA for Vets. We provide assistance in Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, and New York. So these programs, the model that started here on Cape Cod in 18 as a government program, government shutdown program, is now the model that's being used to feed thousands across New England in the pandemic.
Now, when you say we, Don, who is we? Are you retired?
We're a volunteer organization. We have probably 800, 900 volunteers throughout the state and New England that support us. We have 4 or 5 paid people on staff that manage our business affairs, our logistics. We have 7 trucks on the road. The bulk of our food comes in either donations or we buy it at a greatly reduced rate to feed these families. And we transport everything that we receive to a central warehouse that we got from the New England Patriots in Foxborough. It all goes there. It gets repackaged, whether it's farmers to families or our shelf-stable boxes, Food for Vets, or any one of our programs. And then we distribute it from that warehouse in Foxborough to towns like Randolph. We have a huge distribution every Saturday morning in Springfield. We feed 3,000 to 4,000 people every Saturday morning out in Springfield. We do 1,000 on the Cape every Saturday. We have 4,000 families in Boston that we support. We do 1,000 up at Fort Devens, 500 in Danvers, and Randolph will be one of our biggest areas just outside of Boston. And as we talked earlier before the show started, we see pockets now that we're addressing as we go forward, as this pandemic continues to hit people, and the unemployed, need assistance. We're there to help them, whether they're military, veteran, or not.
And that's the biggest change, right? Is you're expanding now to
Yeah.
non-veterans. Yeah.
It became non-veterans last July. What happened was two things happened simultaneously. We ran into a situation where we found a number of families that were military-born children, but whose parents had split, and the military family member had moved on and left a first family behind and moved in with the second family. Well, technically, the first family is entitled to military benefits. But if you don't know where your dad is, or if your mom or your dad hasn't maintained that relationship with you, you're not going to get any of those benefits. And we found through this program that there was quite a few of those families here in Massachusetts, and we started addressing it. And as we addressed that, we felt that it was our civic duty to make sure that we took care of people in need. So we spoke with our sponsors. Everybody was fine with it, and we expanded the program to reach out to everyday people and help as many people as we can possibly.
Now, would you say your volunteers are mostly military veterans?
No, a good portion of them are corporations.
Oh,
We've got one of our great partners is Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Mhm.
They have Blue Crew Days where they send their people to volunteer for us. They sort foods, they package them, they wrap Christmas gifts at Christmas time. They help us give out coats. There's a number of people who volunteer from Blue Crew Days on their own time that isn't through the corporation. Same thing with, I would say, a lot of the season ticket holders from the Patriots
Mhm.
who have got to know us. A lot of the Ocean State Job Lot, Home Depot employees have volunteered for us because they're partners of ours, and we've done programs with them in the past. We get a lot of first responders, firefighters, policemen. It's a teaching experience to be able to get a young person involved in a volunteer basis to help people. And I find a lot of families do it to try and give their children that nurturing that they need to be able to understand what it's like to give back in the community.
yeah. Are you yourself a veteran, Don?
Marine.
Okay. So a lot of that service to community, I bet, comes from that upbringing.
My dad was a Marine, his dad was a Marine, and his dad was a Marine. So I was fourth generation when I went in out of high school. And it didn't really hit me until later in life. I found as I got older, my father and I had more of a chance to understand what it was we did and why we did it, and why we gave back to the community the way we did. So it's the most rewarding and gratifying thing that I've ever done in my life. And I had a very successful business career with Sheraton Hotels.
Oh.
I had the opportunity to meet a lot of people in my professional career that have come back to help us with these food programs today. One of our big sponsors is Katsarubis Brothers Produce out of High Park.
Mhm.
They're a 100-year-old Boston family business that I dealt with when I was the manager of the Sheraton Boston Hotel. And I'm dealing with the son of the people I dealt with, and the grandchildren are in there working now when I go in to see them. So it's truly a rewarding experience, this whole Food for Vets thing.
I'm sure. Yeah. Do you have children in the military?
No, I don't. My children did not serve, and they have their own businesses, so they give back through their own businesses.
Sure.
One of my sons employs some people who are veterans, and the other son works for a company who is very dedicated to helping veteran organizations.
So, going forward, post-pandemic, what do you see your organization preparing for, and what need do you see in the future?
We have really addressed the homeless issue because of this pandemic. We've been involved with a number of homeless veterans that we've gotten into temporary shelters. One of the programs we're very excited about is we're building a new state headquarters in Norton, Massachusetts, and it's going to have a vocational training facility as part of that headquarters, where we'll take and get homeless veterans and veterans who are at risk into the job market so that they can self-sustain and provide a good quality living for themselves. We're working with municipalities to broaden our empowerment base to better serve the veterans across the Commonwealth. We currently have an empowerment center in Agawam and on Cape Cod in a mobile truck that we run out of Foxborough. We'll be adding a brick and mortar facility at Fort Devens, and we'll be adding a brick and mortar facility at the Eastfield Mall in Springfield in the next 6 weeks. And hopefully another facility down here on the Cape that will serve the whole south coast of Massachusetts.
Now, is your organization helping at all with the vaccine rollout, particularly for veterans?
No, we've got a full plate with food. I figured I'd leave that. After watching Governor Baker squirm yesterday in that hearing, I think I made a wise choice to stick with what I know best, and that's distributing food.
Sure. Speaking of, for our viewers here in the Quincy area, Randolph is the closest location. How's that been going for you?
It's a great location. We're blessed to have a good partner there who has a very successful business and welcomed us with open arms for the distribution. I know the first week we did about 160, and last week we were close to 600. So I think this week we'll probably see about 800 families come through on Sunday, and I think that as that gets its legs underneath it, I think that'll be one of the better sites. We ask people to register so that we have enough boxes on site. People get very nervous about it. But if I don't know how many people are coming and 800 people show up and I only got 600 boxes there, I have a lot of very upset families, and that's not the purpose of this. Right. The other reason that we ask people to register is it gives us a look forward to see where people are coming from. When you're giving away free food, the last thing you want to do is have people spend gas money and time to go get free food. So if we can find a pocket or an area that needs our assistance, that registration is key to getting us to develop a new site. When we started out, Foxborough was our first site 50 weeks ago. We now have 17 sites across the state that we do this in. So we've also expanded into 2 other states because of it.
Really?
And Food for Vets is a program that will be here forever. When pandemic's over, there'll still be a Food for Vets, and there'll still be, we're rolling out new programs now that we're trying called Breakfast to Kids for kids that aren't getting nutritional breakfast in the morning, both in our military and veteran communities, and also looking at how we can serve the civilian communities and using our veterans and military people to help support that cause. We also have Meals for Our Mission, which is a pre-cooked reheat type thing, grab and go type meal that we'll be passing out. And those will be made from fresh donations. We've found that during the pandemic, we were running farmers markets where we were taking produce and things that were given to us and rebagging them and giving them people in their car. And because the need is so great right now, what we're looking at is taking those live donations, converting them into soups, stews, and prepared meals, and then distributing those prepared meals to the community, to those in need. That we like to find people that need a hand up and not a handout.
Sure. The distribution in Randolph that you mentioned, noon to 2 on Sundays at Lombardo's, which is, for folks who don't know, it's the building with the giant crystal chandelier in the lobby where so many weddings and proms have been held for so many years. And I
could date myself because I had a prom my junior year in high school, and it was called at that time the Chateau de Ville.
I remember it, actually.
There was a crazy disco there in the back, I remember. I wasn't allowed in because I wasn't old enough, but I remember at the prom seeing it.
But the Lombardo family is longtime partners with the area. They've got a great, huge parking lot there that I'm sure serves your need well.
Yes, and they've opened their arms to us. I mean, that's the thing. The community has really stepped up here in Massachusetts to help us do what we do. We're a volunteer organization, but without the corporate support and the people who provide us the venues. I mean, Mr. Kraft, when they opened the field hospital on Joint Base Cape Cod and we couldn't pack boxes down there, Mr. Kraft opened his doors to the Foxborough terminal to us, and we've been there now for almost a year. We've packaged 58,000 shelf-stable boxes out of there. We've distributed 18,000 winter coats to veterans in need out of there. We've done, I think, probably somewhere around 250,000 farmers to family boxes have gone through there to be distributed to pantries and organizations and individuals across the eastern part of the state that need assistance.
The website, mmsfi.org, right? Massachusetts Military Support Foundation, mmsfi.org to register and learn all about all these programs.
Yes, yes.
Are you?
I never can get away from those military acronyms. I don't know how we, it just happened by chance here.
Yeah. Are you a registered nonprofit?
Yes, we're a 501c3 and we are registered. We just attained our platinum status on what is it? The venue that rates nonprofits. So, we were founded in 2017. In 2020, we attained platinum status as Gold Star.
Okay. I think Charity
nonprofit
is what you're talking about.
What is it?
The Charity Navigator.
Yes. Charity Navigator. We got the Gold Star on the Cape and the Platinum Star in Massachusetts.
That's wonderful.
So that's quite an honor. I was unaware of it until one of our marketing people explained the whole thing to me. But it's nice to be recognized for the work you do.
Absolutely, yeah, and it also means that any donation is tax deductible, certainly.
Yes.
And I'm guessing you have volunteer opportunities too?
Yes, on our website, there's a volunteer sign up area. Foxborough, we have we use Sign Up Genius so that people can sign up in groups. That building's 150,000 square feet, so it's COVID compliant. You could have a football game there and you wouldn't see everybody in the building. And it's great for us because we can process so many of the donations we receive and get them out to the community quick.
Sure. The donation boxes that you're giving out in Randolph, Don, what do they consist of?
They're 32 pounds of fresh fruit. It's produce, vegetables, fresh dairy products, protein, and fresh fruits.
Okay.
So it's enough to get a family through, with some of the shelf-stable stuff that we also have if they need it. And it just gets you, it gives you that hand up that you need to make it through to the next week,
Absolutely, yeah. And you don't have to show any proof of income or anything.
No. Yeah. Strictly go to the website, sign up for the box, and when you get there, they check your name off the list to make sure that somebody that did sign up isn't getting left out.
Yep.
And take it and go home and enjoy it with you and your family.
I think it's a great story to tell, and we're happy to help you get the word out here a little bit at QAT.
I'd invite you to come by this Sunday if you got time, Joe, and grab a box and see what it's like. And that would be another whole story, because I think what I've found from people is I actually have some women that we give boxes to every week, and on Facebook they're producing recipes and meals out of the stuff that comes from the box. It's like there's 4 of them on the Cape, and it's like a competition between them who can make the better meal or the most interesting meal.
Oh, there you go. Is it another whole cottage industry taking off?
Yes.
Do you utilize social media at all for the foundation?
Yes, Facebook. We're on Facebook. We have an Instagram account. We're on Twitter. I don't know how all this stuff works. I'm one of those guys that my granddaughter fixes my cell phone when it doesn't work. So please understand that we're there. I think we're listed on our website. All those social media things are there with links to get to them.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm sure they are. Just curious, was the foundation founded because government dropped the ball somewhere and didn't support veterans, or was it just a need that had
The foundation was founded because when I retired from Sheraton, I ended up staying retired for about 6 weeks. And I was bored out of I thought I was going to play golf and fish and do all the fun things in life. And after 6 weeks of that, I figured I needed something to keep myself busy. And I found myself back in the food business. And as part of the food business, we had a number of food trucks in the 90s, long before food trucks were in vogue. Now everybody wants a food truck because it's a way to promote your restaurant. We were doing food trucks because there was a need in the community on the Cape, and we had trucks So one of the customers that we generated on the Cape was Joint Base Cape Cod.
Mhm.
And while I was out on the base, I got to know everybody's story about their kids and playing ball and having to make a choice between buying a baseball bat so a kid could play in Little League or a glove, or being able to fix the car and a paycheck. And we saw a need, and Cape Cod Military was born of that need. And as we get into it, I found that there was families in the Coast Guard living on Nantucket.
Yep.
And the cost of living out there, they were buying their groceries on their credit cards.
Yep.
So we started a food program with the chaplain where we gave out gift cards. And I'd go out and have a golf tournament with all my friends every year and would raise $10,000. We'd go buy $10,000 worth of cards from Star Market, a Market Basket, a Shop and Shop, and give them for the mainland. And then on the island, we could only give Stop and Shop cards.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the program went from 5,000 the first year to like 50,000 in 3 years. And the need was there. So we decided to take that money. And when Mass was born, we made the commitment that we would get into the food security business.
Okay.
We joined the Greater Boston Food Bank, who is a great partner of ours in Eastern Massachusetts. We're a member of the Western Mass Food Bank out in Agawam. And our corporate partners who are in the food business all support us. And that's how we distribute food and take care of those needs now today. And we've been able to give people an option now. Now, if they have an expense, that they can come to one of our cement or brick and mortar empowerment centers, or they can come to one of our pop-up pantries and get what they need to sustain their family if they have a speed bump in the road where they, find themselves having to repair a car or put a kid into ballerina classes. There's a number of things that happen.
Yeah, that's a great story, and it's also an untold story. I think of people think of the Cape as only a summertime recreation destination, but there's a real community and there's a real need for sure. And if
everybody that flies to Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard, everybody that takes a ferry, everybody that goes out on a fishing boat, on a charter boat, everybody has to depend on the Coast Guard. And those kids live on Nantucket. They don't get any cost of living allowance. And they're out there, if they're an E5, which is a petty officer below, they're making less than $50,000 a year. And I don't know how you make ends meet. That's why I got into it. And that's, that program really was our base that we work from. And now all the other stuff that we do, coats and school backpacks and Christmas, those all came about because the need was there and we just answered the bell.
Yeah. And it never would have happened if you hadn't retired. So there you go.
Right. Yeah.
Don, really appreciate it. Great to talk to you.
Joe, anytime. And please, if you can stop by Sunday, I'd love to hear how you enjoy your box. And if you want to talk about maybe doing something, I'll get Jenny, who's our food service director, to come on with you and talk about meals that she could make out of those boxes. It might be an interesting segment for you.
I appreciate it very much, and I'll give it some thought, and maybe I can put my own Italian recipe spin on it, too.
That'd be great. Good luck and have a great weekend.
Thanks. You too.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.